Hi everyone, I hope you're all doing well wherever you are in the world. So today, what I'm planning on doing is just going to be cutting back all of my banana cream daisies because they are starting to come to the end of the first flush and they're starting to look really tired. And I think, I've checked over the blooms just to see if there's any more flower buds forming below, and there's none. So I think I'm going to cut them all back, and hopefully our season is long enough for the flowers to form a second flush. So the way that I normally know when to cut all of these back is I check the plant, and as you can see, looking at the plant, you can probably see that. Well, I hope you can see it. That there are no buds forming below where the nodes are. Like for example, this one, as you can see, there's no bud here or even here. I'm checking below. And you can check some of the other ones as well. You can see there's no buds, except there might be a few like that one, but there's not a lot of new flower buds forming. So this is when I decide, you know what, it is time for this to be cut all the way back. And like I said before, our season is not usually long enough, because our first frost day is usually in mid-October somewhere. So we don't normally have a long enough season to see these flush again. But if you live in an area where you do have a longer season, you should see these come into the second flush somewhere around the end of September or even October, around that time. So anyhow, I'm going to set my camera up and I'm going to cut all of these back. So here's how the garden is looking like right now after I've cut back all of my banana cream daisies. So this one, for example, you could see I cut it way back until I see flower buds. Now, if I don't see any flower buds, I would cut it all the way to the ground and let it flush new growth all the way back up again. Now, I did decide to leave behind some of the blooms on this bush because I think they're still looking okay, so I can enjoy them a few days longer. And my royal carpet alyssum is starting to look really, really pretty again. Look at the color on them. And I think I cut them back just about a week ago, I think. So all of the zinnia seedlings that I did not pinch back, they're all setting buds right now. You can see like that one there, that one. So I am super, super excited. Now the ones that I did pinch back, they're not setting buds yet, but I am so, so excited to see some of these are starting to bloom very, very soon. So here is the geranium that I actually got on clearance for 50 cents each. Yeah, so I got 3 of these in here for $1.50. I don't know if you remember. But the variety, just in case I forget to mention, is called Geranium William Langworth, I think. And you know what? I love the foliage on this. I think it is the most gorgeous bluish green color foliage. And the variegation, the white variegation, oh, it's so pretty. Now for me, just looking at this is enough to make me happy. But look at the color blooms. Like in the tag, the color of the blooms looked like it was a reddish color. But looking at the color now, do you see that? It's more of a hot pink, which I think it's the most gorgeous sort of contrast between the foliage and the blooms. I think it's so pretty. So and now it makes me feel like I should have gotten more, because I mean, I could take cuttings and root these, but why would you want to when they're only 50 cents each, right? If they're $5, I would definitely start doing cuttings, but oh well, next time. Now that I know, if I see things like this on sale, I probably better off to grab them, right? But they're so pretty. I can't help but admire. Look at this. Look at the leaf. Oh my goodness. so pretty. So anyway, I'm excited to see that. And here is my vanilla strawberry hydrangeas. You remember I planted this tiny little plant here back in fall of last year, and the blooms are starting to turn a gorgeous pink color right now. And these blooms are dense and they're packed with beautiful, mostly infertile petals, but so pretty. The color on this vanilla strawberry blooms are so pretty right now, and you can kind of see that the side that faces the sun, it's coloring up much more nicely than the side that faces the ground, right? So you can see that. So definitely with these panicle hydrangeas, especially the ones that have sort of more beautiful, gorgeous color in fall, the more sun they get, the more sort of the better coloring they will be in fall. And my Happy Returns Day lily is also starting to rebloom as well. You can see some of the fresh blooms on the new bloom stalks here. So here's one of the containers that I planted up back in spring. So I did put in, I think, one piece of the hosta that I divided up from the garden. It's the Patriot hosta. And then I had 2 sun patients in here with a couple of small plugs of lobelia. Now since then, one lobelia died on the other side, so I pulled it out. But this one here, it's still surviving, so that's great. I hope it continues. It's not doing very well, as you can see. But I think the sun patients are actually doing beautifully. There's lots and lots of buds on here. And even here, look at the hosta is actually also doing great as well. So, and I do need to deadhead the flower stalks here, but I kind of like that it provides a little bit of a height here in this corner. So anyhow, it's looking pretty. And while we're in the background right now, I thought you might want to see this. This is the William Morris David Austin Rose. It's got that beautiful apricot color that I love so much. There was a Japanese beetle trying to eat the petal here, but I killed it earlier. So here it is. How beautiful is that? That is so pretty. So in a world where there's no Japanese beetles, these roses will be blooming fine, and you would not have that on the foliage. Oh, I so wish that they'd be gone by now. But they're still here, and I've got tons of buds on there as well, and here as well. So hopefully the beetles will be gone soon, and I will be able to enjoy the blooms on my David Austin roses again. So here is the Hawaiian punch hibiscus that I bought on clearance, and it started to bloom a couple days ago. And these are gorgeous, beautiful, large, tropical type of blooms. And it is white like what the tag says. And again, I bought it for $3.50, but I will have to find a way to winterize this because I really don't want to replace it. I want to be able to keep it blooming and growing and mature for next year. So I think I have to find a way to winterize it indoor and then bring it back out next spring again. But it is looking stunning. Love the beautiful large tropical blooms. So here are some plants that I got recently from Lowe's. I think these geraniums were 45 cents each, so I got 3 of those, which I will plant up and put them around the garden. And again, I will try to winterize these because I think one of the viewers mentioned that geraniums help to distract or help to kind of deter the Japanese beetles, and I think it does work because I have the geraniums at the front, and because it is sitting right next to the zinnias, they actually help to deter the beetles away from the zinnias as well. So I think I'm gonna start planting more of these geraniums around the garden just to help with the Japanese beetles. So anyhow, I got those for $1 something, just 3 of them because there were only 3 left. Otherwise I would have gotten more. So I'm gonna have to somehow find a way to plant that. And then I've got these neon color sweet potato vines. Is it neon? Yeah, sweet potato vine. It's lime, sorry, not neon, lime. And they were 30 cents each. So I picked up 4 of them. I don't know if you remember the planter here that I planted just a few days ago. This is my little lime punch, and the alyssum is not doing all that great. So I'm planning on putting some of the sweet potato vines here And then I'm also going to clean out the bush beans underneath the canopy of the little lime there. I think it's looking a little stressed out right there. You can see the yellow foliage, all right? I'm gonna clean the beans out, and then I'm going to plant a couple or maybe just one of the lime sweet potato vine there as well. Let it kind of vine down or drape down onto the side of the container. I think that would look really nice. So the next part of the video, what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how I collect seeds that I will be replanting for next year. So the one that you're looking at right now is the Royal Carpet Alyssum, and it's got tons and tons of seeds on here, which I will be cutting down. What I will do is I will leave them sort of on the side to dry for about a couple weeks, and then I will store them up and save them to replant for next spring. So here's a close-up of one of the Royal Carpet Alyssum stems, and you can see that that brownish little thing right there, that itself is the seed of the alyssum that you want. So here's another close-up of more seeds from the alyssum. So you can see that right there, the inside, that little orangey brown, that is another seed itself. So here's another one here. And then I've got a whole bunch of them kind of sprinkled all on the bottom here, and they're all mixed in with the alyssum flower petals and stuff like that. But next year when I plant, I can just sprinkle the whole thing down. Some of them will be seeds, some may not be seed, but I'm okay with that. Again, I'm just going to leave this tray to dry somewhere that's not going to get a lot of condensation from the air. So I think I'm going to put it in the shed or in the garage and just kind of let it dry out for a couple weeks before I can just collect all of that and store them away for next year. And here are some more sort of annuals that I will be collecting seeds as well. I've got these pansies here, and I will show you by coming a little bit closer. And I also have the zinnias that I bought from Lowe's on clearance for $3.50. And then I also have some of the wax begonias over there that I will also be trying to collect seeds as well. Now, because of the recent heat that we've been getting all throughout the summer, these pansies aren't doing that well, but I can kind of show you some of the seed heads that are starting to develop on the pansies here. And I'll use this one as an example because it's got one really big one that I could actually use. So if you come a little closer, let me find one here. So here's a close-up of the pansy seed pod here that's sort of developing. Sorry about my fingernails, that's pretty gross looking. So anyway, this is the seed pod here on the pansies. Now I will let it sit and mature on the plant until it starts looking really dry. And then what I will do then is I will clip this off and then put it in a tray again to let it dry completely for a few weeks, and then I can collect the seeds and save them for next year. And there's a few more as well. Let me see if I can show you this one here. So this one here, I also have a few seed pods that are developing. Do you see that? So this one's a little bit more ahead than the other one that I just showed you. And then I've got another one here that's developing as well. So I will be able to start collecting some of these pansy seeds pretty soon. Now looking at these zinnias right now, you can see that they're not forming seeds yet. So they're still full of flowers, but there is one right over here that is starting to form seeds. So they're starting to look more dry, and this is when you know that they're almost ready. And the other way to tell is if you flip the flower back, in the back, you'll be able to see it. So I have one that I just flipped off right here, which I will show you. So I wait until it's completely dried on the stem, and then I take the flower and I cut it, and I kind of let it dry in this container. So you can see here where the seeds are. So the seeds are actually right behind the little petal. Do you see that? I know it's hard to see there. That's the actual seed itself, and it's attached to the petal. And if you take a look at the flower from behind like so, you can see that if I pull on one of these, you'll be able to see the little seeds right over there. Do you see that? That's another seed as well. So you can wait, like I said, until the flower is completely dried on the plant, and then cut that off the plant, and then set it aside in a tray to dry. And once the flower is completely dry, you can just take your scissor, cut all of this off, or you can just pull that out and then save the seeds for yourself to use. So I can just do that for you right now. So just pull it out like this, and each, like I said, one of these at the end of the petal, it's a seed. So the other plant that I also want to collect seed is from the wax begonia. So this itself here is the female flower, and then this one here is the male flower. So once the female flower sort of dries, and you can always tell that it's a female flower because you can actually see the ovary here. Do you see that? Whereas the male flower does not have that. Do you see, like this one here? It doesn't have that. So you know that the female flower is ready to be harvested is when it's completely dried off. So let me find one that's dried for you. So here are some of the female flowers that I collected earlier, and you can tell that this one here, it's still not completed drying yet, but I did harvest it. And what I will do now is I will let them sit on this tray, like I said, for a couple weeks again until they're completely dried out. Now this one here, as you can see, it's a bit more dried, and if you open one of these, which I will try to attempt to open for you right now, you'll see that the inside is full of seed. Do you see these little seeds? Now they look like somewhat yellow, little tiny yellow orangey color, kind of like turmeric, I think. But anyway, so that's how you can tell that there are seeds inside. Now this is still kind of wet looking, so I'm gonna wait until all of these are completely dry before I actually open them up and save them for next year. So here's my limelight, and I had one sweet potato vine left, so I planted there. And then I also threw some of the seedlings from the columbine that I had earlier, and they're starting to come up as well. So I think anything kind of spilling over the side of the container right now will make this look nicer, I think. So here's my container with the little lime punch. So I did end up putting 3 of the sweet potato vine around there, and again I left the alyssum behind, and if they're starting to look worse, I probably will cut them back, but hopefully in the meantime the sweet potato vine will start to spill over and make this look a little bit more pretty, because it's not looking that great right now. So I did end up putting one of the geranium plant in this corner here. And the last 2 geranium plants, I placed one in that corner over there and one just over here. So I try to spread them out as far as possible, hoping that they will help to deter the beetles away from my garden. So I think I'm gonna say goodbye for now, and I wanna say thank you so much for spending this day with me. You have yourself a wonderful day or night wherever you are in the world. Take care, and I will see you in the next video. Bye bye for now.